Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of The Virgin Fairy. Thank you so much if you're coming back. If this is your first time and you didn't listen to yesterday's podcast and you like cheeseburgers, I would really recommend that you go and listen to that. It's just all about cheeseburgers. Not really about cheeseburgers, but there's something in there for you. Anyway, today we're going to dive into a little bit more of my family life. This episode is definitely less not safe for work than last. However, there's still some language in this episode, so it's still going to have that not safe for work tag. Like I said, if you're joining me again, thank you so much, and I'm probably going to dive right into this because I don't have much time today. So with that being said, here is episode 2, Attempted Homicide with Extra Cheese. I lived in a part of Florida where somebody stabbed their own brother over macaroni and cheese. If you're thinking that it's about time to move and you're not entirely sure if you're ready or not, a good sign you need to go is when people start getting stabbed over macaroni and cheese. Now, don't get me wrong, Florida has some very beautiful places where someone can live, and I'm positive that if I were given the chance, I could be very happy there. The problem is that in order for somebody to live in a place like that in Florida, you need to be associated with the type of person who can afford more than one bowl of Kraft. When you hear stories like that, stories so bizarre and outrageous they make national news, you begin to wonder if perhaps there's some piece of information you're missing. Maybe there's some kind of mystery surrounding the story that just hasn't been uncovered yet. Have you ever heard a story like that? My brother is the type of person to always believe there's more to a story. For example, the man who stabbed his brother over macaroni and cheese, my brother might say something like, "Well, what if that macaroni and cheese meant more to him? What if he had quit his job and knew that with no job meant no income? So he stocked up on a bunch of macaroni and cheese. He had been living on nothing but it for months. And then on his way home, he knew that he was only left with a single box. He rode the bus all the way home knowing that when he got home, that box of macaroni and cheese could potentially be his last meal. Saddened by the fact that he would no longer get to enjoy the cheesy-covered noodles that one can compare to the gates of heaven, he held on to the thought of being able to enjoy it. Then, when he got home and realized it was gone, he just blacked out. The world he had known for months, the world of macaroni and cheese, had been completely taken away from him. And he snapped. And the world never saw the macaroni man the same way again. I don't know about all that, but I do know I am never eating one of my brother's macaroni and cheese. My brother always obsesses over news stories. He will sit on the internet for hours just listening to police radars, waiting for some kind of house fire, break-in, maybe even a murder, which honestly was not surprising where I came from. The problem with my brother is he is the type of person who just never wants to tell you a story. He wants you to want the information. If you don't want it, he feels like he can't share it with you. If he could choose to be any invention in the entire universe, any invention from any time period, my brother would choose to be Ask Jeeves in the 90s. One of the most common examples of my brother's love for interested people is when he used to be on our home computer. You know, the community computer that sat in the middle of your living room and it needed to be connected to a phone line. He would sit at that computer and read about the city's latest gossip. However, instead of simply asking a question such as, "Hey, did you guys hear about the guy who lost his mind over macaroni and cheese?" Instead of asking that simple question, my brother would go fishing. "Oh my God," would be heard from any room in the house. My mother and I grew used to this, so much so that we knew in order to get the best possible sense of accomplishment from within ourselves, ignoring him and seeing how long it would go on would be an absolute pleasure. Half of the time, my mom and I would be in the same room, and we would give each other a little smirk and a nod to silently agree that we were both going to ignore him. This is insane. How does something like this happen? How is this even real? Anyone who hasn't heard about this yet definitely needs to hear about this. If you haven't heard about this yet, you are missing out. Finally, so that my brother wouldn't lose his voice, and so the neighbors didn't think we were the next stabbing victims, my mom would interrupt. Is it the guy who stabbed his brother over macaroni and cheese? She would say. Oh, yeah. Crazy, huh? Very, she would reply. My brother had become so involved in crazy news stories that it was only a matter of time before he wanted to become a firefighter. He joined the Junior Fire Academy, and I'm not even kidding, within like a month, he had already made the local news for saving someone's life. Now, my brother really was telling everyone the story. Watching my brother being interviewed should have been a special moment for me, but I was a little dick at that age, so instead I just laughed from behind the scenes. My brother had pulled in someone out of a house fire who had passed out in our neighborhood, and that man knew a lot of people. He knew so many people that by the time the whole house had burned to the ground, the news was already there interviewing my brother. The man who had just lost his home was just grateful to be alive, and my brother honestly didn't know what to do with himself. He had spent so much time watching the news that when it came time for him to be on the news, he just froze. So, tell us what happened, the reporter would say. I saved a guy's life today. Yeah, but tell us how it all went down. Well, there was a fire and I saw him go in and then he never came out, so I went and got him. I could tell the news anchors were getting impatient, probably scouring for some extra footage. They just asked, "What do you do on a normal day?" Well, I ride my four-wheeler. I shit you not. I have the VHS tape of the news telling my brother's story and showing a video of him riding his four-wheeler. It honestly looks like the trailer for some Larry the Cable Guy / Dwayne The Rock Johnson film. All they needed were pyrotechnics in the background and they would have had Fast and the Furious, Redneck Firefighter. To make the whole situation even more crazy, within that same month, my brother was invited to City Hall and given a plaque for Junior Firefighter of the Year. My mouth nearly dropped to the floor when they announced that the day we were at the courthouse for the award, that very date would forever become Fire Explorer Matthew McKinley Day. To this day, you better believe that the day is still celebrated. Not by everyone. In fact, probably not many have ever even heard about it. But if you happen to be in the same house as my brother on this day, you can expect to hear from the other room, "Oh my God." All right, everyone, it's a shorter story, but thank you so much for listening today. That's just a little funny story I have from my childhood. There's actually a lot more about that fire story, but maybe next time. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please share it. Please tell people to come listen to it. Please keep an eye out for the next one. I really, really am enjoying doing this. I have some things on my phone. I might be able to do another one tomorrow, but I might limit it to 2 a week. I'm not sure yet. Yesterday, I got some really nice feedback. I really like getting feedback, so please, if you listen to it, tell me you listen to it. Even if you just write, "I listened to it," period. That would be awesome. I'm going to pry you for more information, but you don't have to write back. Anyway, I guess I need to come up with a loop and a situation today, so here we go. You find out the person your friend likes is single, and you call them on your phone with the breaking news.